This module, we're going to talk about time management, a concept that's easy in theory, but difficult in its execution. And so let's put it in context. We've talked about mindset. We've talked about metacognition, the mindset, how I can learn this, metacognition, how best can I learn this? But equally important is time management, how to allocate my time to learn it. Without the time, the rest of it really doesn't matter. So every day for the rest of your life, you're going to wake up and you've got to decide how you're going to spend basically the next 16 hours. There are things that you must do, right? Work, eat, you got family. There are things that are priorities that you should do. You should attend class, you should study, you should exercise, some level of socialization. And then there's the things that you might like to do. Relax, play games, watch a movie, hang out. So the key is you want to have all three of these elements in your day, but you got to put them in the right order. So let's look at a short video on time management and we'll discuss this.
Welcome to this video on time management for college students. First, why do we need to manage our time effectively? Well, to achieve goals, be efficient, gain a sense of control, gain a sense of balance, reduce stress, give time to the important parts of our lives, make smarter choices, and last but not least, enjoy life. So consider this. There are 168 hours in a week. This chart shows the average amount of hours per week college students spend on various activities. Notice the amount carved out for studying, averaging at 10 hours a week. That's too low. Here we see a typical first semester college student in an engineering program with 15 credits. So this student should multiply the number of credits by 2 or 3 for how much to study per week. That works out to be 30 to 45 study hours per week, and that's not counting the in-class time. So let's start again with 168 hours a week to find out how much time we really have. If we sleep 8 hours a day, that's 56 hours a week right there. Then about 21 hours to get ready and eat, etc. 15 hours in actual class. And let's put in 30 hours just for studying. That gives us a huge chunk of 46 hours left in a week. Think about how you spend that time, including, for example, commuting, exercising, working, on social media, relaxing, texting, or socializing. One way to get a sense of where your time goes is to fill out a wheel of productivity. You start with a wheel of 24 hours with different tasks that will fill up time. Then color in what your day looks like. This gives a great visual of what a typical day looks like for you. So
Let's take a look at time management for a college student in a practical way. So here you have four things. You got an English paper in 2 weeks, a math exam in 3 days. You want to go to the beach next week, and you got some chemistry homework to do. Well, it's multifaceted. How do I best approach utilizing my time for these tasks? And so first off, you got to prioritize. Not everything is equally important. Now, we may prioritize this differently, but for the sake of argument, I'm gonna put the top of my list. I got to get ready for this math exam. It's just a few days away, but I'm struggling in chemistry. I got to do the homework. And although the paper is a few weeks out, I need to get started, just make some progress, get some ideas for the paper. And I'm going to go to the beach. It's important to me. I've put money there. I'm going to go, but I got to get my work done. And then you get into after you've prioritized, how am I going to organize this? Well, for math, for example, you might say, okay, let me break this into two pieces. Instead of trying to study it all at once, I'll do half of it tonight, half of it tomorrow. For my chemistry, just make sure that you have all the materials that you need to be able to complete the homework. English, you might just say, okay, let me just figure out the theme and maybe some of the main points that I want to make in the paper. And that's all. And again, in the back of my mind, I'm going to go to the beach. I got to get this work done. Now, being proactive, okay? Well, while you're doing your math homework, write down the questions, concepts that you don't understand so you can ask your instructor. Okay, because you gotta figure this out. Metacognition tells you I do not understand something. Find out what it is you don't understand and fix it. Maybe in chemistry, you go to tutoring before class if you're on campus for that class. Um, or you can go to online tutoring that's available. For the English, you may go to the library and ask a librarian for some good reference material based on the fact that you've picked out a theme and you have some main points. And again, the beach, I'm going to go. I got to get my work done. So I've prioritized, I've organized, I'm being proactive, I'm being a jungle tiger, if you will, and seeking solutions. And then my focus. Well, too many students miss this completely, where you need to get a quiet environment. Turn off the phone, get rid of all the distractions so that you can focus without distraction on your math homework. Perhaps chemistry might be better in a study group if you have one. A lot of students form these study groups and they're very, very effective. But as a minimum, that should also be a quiet, distraction-free environment. Maybe you keep a notebook with you during the day, and as ideas pop into your head about this English paper, you just write them down. Otherwise, you're going to forget them. And then, of course, I'm going to go to the beach. Okay, so every day you wake up, you got 16 hours. You should prioritize what it is that you have to do, organize it, be proactive. And by all means, when it's time to study, you got to focus. You got to have a quiet environment to be successful. So again, it's the what, the when, and the how. It's really three-tiered. What you don't, and when it comes to school, you don't get to choose the what. You get assigned work, you get assigned exams, and it is what it is. When you got to break stuff up into chunks. If you try to cram the night before, it may have worked in high school. It is not going to work in college because you don't have the opportunity to fix the things that you don't understand. So allocate time in your schedule for stuff that you know is coming up. And then how are you going to do it? There's all kinds of techniques that we've talked about. Everything from group study to flashcards to visit the Student Success Center for tutoring, their instructor office hours, library, distraction-free environment. Okay. So also important, learn to say no. Okay. You say no to this on a Wednesday, yes to this maybe on a Friday. My first two roommates in college both flunked out because they said yes on Wednesday, had a great time, but they didn't last a year in college before they flunked out. Get involved if you can. Say yes to be involved. But if you're really overcommitted, if you're working a lot of hours and you have a lot of other commitments, say no. Eddie learned to say no to playing the video games. He's studying for his chemistry test. Um, should you play video games? Absolutely, but only at the appropriate time. Don't kid yourself. You're only going to watch one episode. You end up binge watching for 3 hours. You got to learn to say no to yourself. Each of these questions has the same answer. Okay. When it deals with mindset, metacognition, time management, and procrastination, all of the answers here is it is a choice. Everything about your life, you're choosing. Okay. And time management, how I spend my time is a choice, and procrastination is not a trait. It is a choice. Name one thing these four famous people have in common with you. Okay, one of them is probably not a billionaire, right? You wouldn't be in this class if you were a billionaire. But what you have in common with all of these people is they get the same amount of time every week that you do. The difference is what do they do with their 168 hours and what do you do with your 168 hours? It is a choice. Be productive. And so you can see that the goal is to find that balance between the things you want to do and the things that you need to do. You're managing your behavior and not time. And there's enough time in a day to have an opportunity to relax and enjoy yourself. But that should not be the first thing you should do. It should be the last thing that you do. Okay? So key points, you don't manage time, you manage your behavior. You got to find the balance between academics, work, family, and leisure. This is not the time in your life that you should be spending 30 plus hours a week gaming or binge watching TV. Okay. And then you should know what is it that I got to do? when am I going to do it, and how do I best do it? Okay? Very good. Talk to you in the next module.